Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, December 19th. It is 6:23 right now. Market's going to open in about 7 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Just got a few things here to update. All right, let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. Sent out. All right, so as people join in, I am going to go ahead and start marking up liquidity targets over here. One more here, 30-minute, 15-minute. 10-minute, and back to the 1 minute. So looks like we are good to go. All right, guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, December 19th. It is 6:26 right now. Market's going to open in about 4 minutes. As you can see from the market, we had this huge dump over here yesterday during the interest rate news. So price pretty much slammed like pretty heavy yesterday during the Fed news. It's going to be tricky today because price is likely to correct back up, but it's also likely to continue dropping. So I mean, we'll kind of see what happens here when market opens. But I mean, yeah, I guess we'll just have to see what happens because there's a lot of uncertainty with regard to how price is going to move and how market's going to move from now until the end of the year because of that big spike. I mean, it dropped to like 1,000 points, guys. So 1,000 points is not a small drop, right? You compare that to that's like 1,000 times of what we typically have per day moving in the market. So it's a huge, huge spike right here. You can see a price dropped. Measure it from this. Yeah. So price dropped 1,500 points almost. It's a lot. During each market session, we barely get 100 points, if not 200 points, but this was 1,000. So like 10 times the movement within like 2 hours time. So obviously, price is going to want to correct back up and just fill this gap, but in a sense, I mean, price might just keep dropping. I mean, who knows? So we'll see what happens here when market opens up. I'll know the direction of the breakout shortly. There's not really much liquidity above. There's a lot of liquidity below. The liquidity above is like super far up. It's a correction from the big drop yesterday. But anyways, there's a closest level of liquidity below is at 43,046. The highest one is it's super far out. So, I mean, it's kind of irrelevant for now. I'm not going to expect that to get hit by today. Here are the levels of liquidity as well. You can see there's a lot just hanging out right here. So if price does decide to come down, first target's going to be this liquidity target right there, that lower low. So, I mean, we'll see what happens shortly. Direction of the breakout for today is going to be a buy. I'm not taking the breakout today, guys. Again, I'm going to be following it, but I'm not going to be taking it. Until we get like one solid win for the breakout, I'm going to hold off until looking for any entries here. So for the breakout today, we're going to be holding off. I'm going to be holding off. If you guys want to take it, feel free to take it, but I'm going to hold off on the breakout today until we have one solid win. Then I'll start looking to take actual breakouts on my accounts and the hedge accounts as well. For today, I'm mainly going to be looking for scalps over here between 640 and 7. Check the calendar real quick. We had news at 5:30 and we have news at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock and 7:30. So mark that up right there. We got market opening up in about 10 seconds, guys. Again, if you're looking to take the breakout for today is going to be a buy. I'm not going to take it. I'll follow it, but I'm not going to take it. I need to have a win first before I can start taking any more breakouts because the risk off plan hasn't been filled yet. So, all right, breakout's currently running in profit right now as we speak. Come back and take a look at that later. I'll also look at the breakout V2 as well. So we'll be following the momentum breakout, and we'll also look at the breakout V2 if and when it comes up. Again, I'd be careful taking any entries right now because of the big spike from yesterday. Ideally, price would go up, but I mean, the drop was super heavy, so there might be a continuation to the downside. So I'm not really looking to take anything here yet. Looking for scalps over here between 640 and 7. Mark this up as opening price. Mark up the news earlier as well, 5:30. All right, so the breakout's currently running in profit, guys. It's almost at its TP. It's about like at 60 points, I believe. So push about 70 points in profit. I'm hoping it continues to push up higher. If this becomes the case, then great. We'll come back and take a look at that shortly. So if this here closes green, if this next candle closes green, guys, this is going to be the breakout V2. So it's going to be in line with the actual breakout. So these 2 entries right there. Candle's about to close shortly. Yeah, I'd probably take this even for it's still too far out. So the breakout looks like it's about to hit full TP for the breakout right there if you guys took it. If this candle closes green, this could be the breakout V2 as well. So it's going to continue to push higher. Which it did. So the breakout V2 did close right there. We'll see if it pushes higher from where it's currently at. So again, I'm looking for my scalps over here closer to the 640 mark. I'll look for price to possibly come back and retest this, look for a V1 variation around there, and possible continuation to the upside. So I'm glad the breakout here finally hit. Since breakout hit today, I'll be looking to take the breakout tomorrow. So breakout over here, we have some direction. I'm glad that we had that big spike yesterday because that caused the market to kind of shake up a little bit. It's shaking it out of that sideways move. So instead of moving sideways and whipsawing, we now have a directional push here on open. So there goes a breakout right there, full TP for 100 points. Here, I'll take a screenshot of that real quick. So full TP right there on the breakout on open, momentum breakout, full TP for 100 points. We have the breakout V2 that's currently running right now. I'm going to go ahead. It's a bit overextended, so I think it'd be a little tricky to be taking that next one. Well, let me go and just update this. It's been a long time since we had the breakout push through. First breakout in a while, that's kind of went straight through. All right, so full TP right there for the breakout. We got the breakout V2 currently running in profit. We got two breakouts running alongside each other. First one right there, full TP already, played out like it was supposed to. And now I'm looking at the breakout V2 that's currently pushing up higher. So I still need to keep running some more tests on the breakout V2. I don't have enough data on it yet to really want to take it. But it seems to work good during slow months like December. So still nothing for me to take here yet. Price is pushed up, retrace down. So I'm not going to take any market flow V2s because there's already a market flow V2 that came up down here. Once it gets to 640, I'll be looking for possible V1 variations, maybe a breakout V3 continuation, some stuff like that. So I would want to see some sort of retracement first, like price push up, retrace down with a possible sell signal, come back up, and continue pushing up higher from there. So not going to rush any trades here, of course. I'm going to take it easy. We got news at 7 o'clock, so I'm hoping that entry would come up earlier than later. We have high impact news, existing home sales at 7 o'clock. Forecasted to be negative. So we'll see. I mean, all the homes data was pretty much negative. Plus the interest rate drop yesterday isn't necessarily I mean, it was good news that the interest rate was dropping, but it was what Powell mentioned after. So there's going to be less regulation, probably little to no interest rate cuts further. So that's why a lot of people they sold off because it seems like the market's going to be going in limbo. Because the thing is, with the interest rates going down, inflation just may keep going higher. I don't think inflation was ever tamed. That's why a lot of people are kind of freaking out. But here we go. Price pushes up higher. Breakout V2 still currently running. Again, the breakout V1, the momentum breakout hit full TP here for 100 points, and the breakout V2 is currently running at the moment. There's no breakout V3 here, at least not yet. Like I said, we need to get a sell signal to come up for a retracement, confirm that small retracement, and then continuation to the upside. 6:36 right now, so we still got some time. I mean, we got a lot of time. Sam said, nice breakout. Yeah, I know, finally, right? We finally had the breakout actually play out like it was supposed to. So I'm hoping this continues tomorrow. I will be taking the breakout tomorrow since we're finally off the risk off plan. We had a solid win there. And maybe this will be the sign for price to start to move back in direction. But I mean, who knows? We're getting close to Christmas. Christmas is next week, guys. So these are the last few days. This is the last full week of trading before Christmas. Christmas week next week. So I'll have to check here. Let me pull it up real quick. So CME holiday schedule. All right. So for Christmas Eve, it's pretty much closed. Yeah. So it's closed, and then market reopens Christmas Day in the afternoon. This is a little confusing because it closes again on the 20th. Oh, because it's Kwanzaa. Um, Yeah, so it's closed Christmas Eve. It reopens Christmas Day at night, and then it recloses again on the 26th, and then it reopens on Friday. Okay, so kind of weird holiday hours, but I mean not weird, I guess. It's so 24th is Christmas Eve, 25th is Christmas Day, and the 26th is Kwanzaa and Hanukkah. So yeah, I mean I guess there's not gonna be much trading next week. It's a lot of holidays right there. Jonathan said he took a breakout V2, full TP. Did that hit full TP already? Did you take it for a partial on it, Jonathan? It looks like it shot up and then it came back down. So the breakout V2 actually didn't go to this full move today. It looks like you might have taken it for your trailing stop might have moved it up, or you probably took it for a partial. I think if you took it for 30, it would have been great. If you took it 30, 30, or if you took it for 25, 50. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, yeah. So you took it for partial. No, that makes sense. Yeah, so nice work, Jonathan. So I didn't take it either of these trades here. This is the momentum breakout. This is the breakout V2. I think the breakout V2 would have been kind of tricky because it was already overextended at this point. Whenever price is overextended 100 points, probably not the best decision to chase it for another 100 points because that's a 200 point push, right? Um, so yeah, anyways, the official entry, the momentum breakout did hit full TP. So I'll be looking for this tomorrow. I'll be taking it on my accounts and the hedge accounts. However, right now I'm looking for some scalps. So a couple of things I'll be looking for here is I will be looking for possibly a V1 variation off structure, and then possibly I'll be looking for a breakout V3 continuation. So I'm basically going to look for a buy signal here. If I get a buy signal followed with a green candle, I'll be looking for that to take as a breakout V3 continuation. I'll be taking it with a 30-30 TP stop loss with a trailing stop of 10 points. 6:40 right now. So I got 20 minutes right now to make my move. I'm hoping the market here moves directional. If it doesn't, then I'm not going to force anything here, of course, but ideally I would like to take something here. So here's the current range right now. Price is currently ranging between these price points. It's going back and forth, back and forth. So the range is between the 43,250 mark and the 43,150 mark. Price may come down lower. So if it does come down lower level right here is going to be at the 100 mark. So there goes the clean chart. I just added the liquidity on here too, so you can kind of see where price may push to. So this is kind of helpful because you can kind of see where price goes from here. So you see all the liquidity hanging out down here. This is why it's tricky to take the buys here because there's so much liquidity on the downside and there's not really any liquidity on the top side. But ideally, price should be correcting back up, right? Because we had that big spike to the downside yesterday. So it's tricky because the obvious direction is up, right? Since we had price drop down about 1,500 points, obviously the obvious direction that people want to trade in is to the upside because they want to buy the dip. However, you don't want to look at the obvious. You want to look at the obvious and do the opposite. So, I mean, it's kind of tricky because the obvious is to the upside and the obvious is to the downside, right? If you want to follow the movement, you go to the downside. If you want to follow the correction, you trade to the upside. That's why today's such a tricky day to trade in because of those specific reasons. But since I'm scalping, it's not really a huge deal because I can, I can have my trailing stop up, I can trail it, I can pull for a smaller TP. Like I don't have to go for those bigger moves. So I'm just looking for those little momentum pushes and I'm looking to take those when I can. So right here, we have a pending buy signal. If we get this buy signal here and I get a green candle, then I'll be looking for a possible push to the upside. Sam said, so to go up, I need liquidity below. No, that's the opposite. You need liquidity on the upside, Sam. because there's liquidity down here already. There's no liquidity up top because price already came down super heavily. So for price to push up, it needs liquidity to trigger, right? To go for those stop loss hunts. Right now, all the stop losses are hanging out down here, but price may push up. So if this candle here closes green, guys, this is going to be a breakout V3 continuation. So I'll be looking to take this here for a buy. Be taking for a 30-30 TP stop loss, also using a trailing stop for 10 points. So we'll see this here. The candle has to close green though. Candle doesn't close green, no entry. Be a V1 variation right there, push back down to this area of liquidity. Candle does not look like it's going to close green. No entry there, man. Looks like we're back to this sideways move. All right, so there's no entry there. There's a V1 variation on the structure. You might want to be careful taking any buys here. So if this candle was green, I would have taken this for a buy. Didn't close green, closed red. So there's no setup there for a breakout V3 continuation. We might go in the opposite direction. If this sell signal closes, might take a breakout V3 continuation for the sell side. Because we have some confluences here. We have a V1 variation right there. It's a reversal pattern. Plus, if we get a sell signal right here, we have all the liquidity hanging out down here. So might be taking this for a sell, actually. See how quickly that can flip. We need this here to close with the sell signal. If the sell signal closes, I'll be looking to take that sell. So instead of a buy here, I'm now looking for a sell. All right, so I need a red candle right here, guys. If I get a red candle right here, this will be an entry for a breakout V3 continuation for a sell. Target down here is going to be the lower low. The tricky candles. Again, you got to wait till the end of the candle because it's currently at like, oh man, so it might be a little too late now. I don't want the candle to be that big. All right, we got this candle closing in about 15 seconds. Candle closing in about 3, 2, 1. It's a little bit of a tricky entry right there because the candle is so large. This might hit my stop loss. Yeah, I hit my stop. The candle was just too big. It wasn't a good entry for the thing. I mean, I was kind of tempted to, and I just realized right here, this was a bad entry. My bad, guys. I didn't realize there was a blue line right there. The opening price was right here. So I got caught in this right here. Yeah. See, this is why I don't like too much stuff on the chart because I didn't see that blue line there until now. There was a liquidity that was kind of like blocking this area right here. And I didn't see that. So there's actually another V1 variation right here. I'd say this is a horrible entry, guys. My bad. There's a red flag right here. Is the opening price. I just couldn't see it because I was too focused on the target down here. So I'll be looking over here right now. This could be another flip. So we had another V1 variation right here, and this could actually flip back to the upside. So we're back in this whipsaw type market. You want to keep away from this opening price though. So this blue line. I messed up because the liquidity. So if I go back over here, the liquidity was like blocking the blue. Like you can see right there, we had the opening price, but the liquidity was in the way. So I wasn't looking at that blue line right there. Unfortunately, I got screwed because I should have not taken that trade. That was a red flag. Basically, all of the sessions and the opening price are considered red flags, of course. And unfortunately, I didn't look at that there. I got in at like the worst timing. So here we go. As price pushes up. If this pushes back up and we get another buy signal with a green candle, I will take this back to the upside. So I'll try to recoup the loss on that trade. There's a V1 variation here. So this is another reversal pattern. If we get a buy signal here, then a green candle, I'll take this back to the upside and then hopefully just recoup that loss that I just took. taking it for a 1-to-1, so it'll just balance out. But we do need that buy signal there. And price is just going back and forth. I need that buy signal there to take it back up. Again, if you guys want to take any trades, avoid the buy of the open price right here, the blue line. So if the candle touches it, or if it has to touch it to reach your TP, I would just skip it. Because you can see how price gets manipulated. Price came down to the opening price, faked out right there, double body rejection, swung right back up. It works the same way with the sessions. That's why I have those indicators there. There's no sessions here though, because price is so far away from it. Like all the sessions are like way up here because of this big drop from yesterday. Price came right back down. So it looks like it just whipsawed here. Price came down, whipsawed back up, and then it came right back down here. And it's going back to where it was supposed to go. So unfortunately, my entry here got stopped out. And then now it's coming right back to where it's supposed to go. So if it didn't get stopped out right there, you can see it's coming back down to the target because the target was right here. It was just, I should have waited for this here I didn't even realize that it was there. If I knew it was there, I would have just waited for it to close below. And then the entry would have actually happened later down here. But price faked out right here, came back down. And now it's going to where it was supposed to go earlier. Nice. Samson, he got out at 50 points, saw the V1 for buy, close to the sell. Nice work, Sam. Yeah, solid work right there. And I hate when this happens. That's the whole reason I have the red flags. Because I didn't want to get caught in something like this. So you can see if I didn't get caught in that whipsaw, I would have hit full TP actually. I mean, it's all good. It's just my mistake. So there you go. The 30 points would have gotten hit. So the entry was right here. It's just we got caught in that whipsaw because obviously the blue line right there came up, came back down for correction. And there it goes as it hits TP. Like I said, the target would have been the lower low right here. And that's where price went to. It's all good. Win some, you lose some. That's why you have to manage your risk properly. If you take proper risk with your trades, then it shouldn't really hurt your account too much whenever you take a loss. Here we go, the price down below the lower low. Next target right here, if price continues dropping, is going to be this next lower low down here. $6.51 right now, so it's getting closer to my my cutoff time right now for entries. So we'll see if we can push price back up, hopefully. What I'm going to look for here is I'm going to look for price to push back up. Hopefully get a buy signal somewhere and then have the correction back down further. I'm not going to chase this right here. But if price does continue to drop lower, there's liquidity sitting around this area. And the liquidity target is going to be down here, this lower low. But I'm not going to chase it because obviously price here is a bit overextended. It's down almost 200 points now. Let's see, Imperium said, I think your live is behind. Yeah, the YouTube is behind. YouTube is behind about 10 to 30 seconds. That's why people need people are on the Zoom. The Zoom is real time, but the YouTube is delayed. It's like any YouTube. All YouTube streams are delayed unless they're like streaming directly to YouTube. I'm streaming from Zoom and then it's streaming to YouTube. That's why there's a delay between. If you want the real time, you need to get on the Zoom. And if you want the Zoom, just go to the website. So again, go to the website, kodikaitrades.com, click on strategies right here. We are still offering the trial. So what you would do is you would go to the website. kodikaitrades.com, click on strategies right here. So this is going to expire by the end of the year, guys. So if you guys want to use the trial, make sure to use it as soon as possible because the code's going to expire. Go to add coupon code right here, type in trial, hit apply. and then you'll get the first month for free. So if you want to try it out, feel free to try it out. You'll get the real time on there. But yeah, by the end of the year, the promo code will expire. So, all right, I don't know if we have enough time to take an entry. I'm hoping we get something, but it's not looking like it. We're currently at 6:53. I have about 7 minutes till 7 o'clock. We also have news at 7 o'clock, so I'm not sure if we're going to get anything here. What I need is I need a buy signal to push up. I need a V1 variation, double body rejection off, one of these structures. Once I have that, then I can ride it back down further. But it's not enough time. It's like 7 minutes from now until 7 o'clock. For one, at 7 o'clock, there's news. And then for two, my cutoff is 7 o'clock for entry. There may be one more opportunity here. So if you guys are looking for a possible sell here, ideally, I would like the V1 variation. But another thing that you can look for is a market flow. So there's a market flow V2 that may come up right here at the 70 mark, if anybody is looking to take that. So there's market flow that's right here at the 70. And if it drops lower, it could be right here at the 60, actually. So there's a couple entries that are setting up. It's just right now, it's kind of tricky because price is so far below. It's down like 200 points at this point. I mean, the volatility's up and there is some direction. Solange said this is unusually crazy. Yeah, I know. It is a little volatile right now. I mean, this big spike right here that I got caught in the fake out, that's a huge spike to the upside. So I don't really see anything else here right now. And I kind of wish I took the V1 from up here. The V1 is a really, like, this was a pretty solid entry. It was like right on the structure. And like what Sam did is he basically just rode this back up. So he rode it down here. He saw the V1 right there and he just closed out. Like you can really take just V1 variations in both directions for the most part. And then flip them when you see. The only thing here is that this would be against the trend. So that would have been kind of tricky for me. Let me check this V1 real quick. Also, the V1 was at opening price. I want to see where that liquidity was sitting earlier. Yeah, it was solid. The only problem here is that it was right at the opening price. Obviously the red flags that I warned about. I was warned about them and I missed it this time. I think what I might do is I might lighten the color of this liquidity so it's not like overlapping with stuff too much. We'll see. I don't know. I gotta figure out what I want to do with it. I might just make it a little bit lighter so it's not so dark because we don't really care for the actual color. We just want to see where those boxes are at. There's another V1 variation right here. So another one lined. Oh, actually, no, I take that back. Sorry. I thought there was a V1 here, but they're not lined up with each other. It's off by like maybe a little bit. But if you put a box there, you can see they're not on the same level. So no V1 variation there. Let's see, Sam said another liquidity like every day. This is the third time missing my full 80 points. Yeah, no, it's tricky. The market's been pretty tricky for like the past like 2-3 weeks. I mean, today we have some actual volatility and direction, so this is a good thing. I like the fact that we have volatility and direction because you can use my liquidity, like these markups right here, for you can use them to your advantage, right? Because you can see where like liquidity is sitting, and then you can use these targets here, the lower lows and the higher highs, as liquidity targets. So you can ride the liquidity down to these target points. We're now getting closer to the Asia high down here. So we're getting a little closer to that point. Where did this retrace down from? Yeah, the volatility on these candles right here down the middle, that they're like really big. So this one over here was like 50, they were about 50 points each. You had a 50-point candle right here, 50-point candle right here, another one right here, came right back down, and then it died back down to normal volatility, which is like 30 points per candle. Except for this one. This one's kind of big too. Not as big, but like 30, 40 points. These smaller ones right here, of course, like 20, 30 points. Um, there's no V1 right here. This would have been a nice V1 if it was one, but it's not. It's too late. Yeah. I don't have time to take my entry. My cutoff at 7 o'clock. We also have high impact news, new home sales right here at 7 o'clock. So I probably wouldn't mess with any trades at this very time. I would probably wait for the news to pass. News over here for existing home sales is 1%, so it's going to forecast to be negative. And for November, forecasted to be positive. So negative for month over month and positive for existing home sales. This is normal though, because during the winter seasons, the housing market does slow down. People aren't trying to buy houses in the winter because it's too cold to move in most places. Maybe not California, but in most places, yeah, people don't want to move in December. So traditionally, the housing market is kind of slower during the winter season. All right, so no entries here. Looks like I'm pretty much wrapped up for my scalps. If you guys are just joining, the breakout did hit for today. If you guys are curious and wondering what happened with the breakout for the day, it hit full TP here with like little to no drawdown. So it looks like we might be back in business for the momentum scalps. I'll be taking it tomorrow with my personal account and with the hedge accounts. I mean, I'm glad we're finally getting some volatility here because my hedge laptop is starting to get dusty. It's been sitting there for about over a week now. We haven't taken, yeah, it's over a week because the last time we took a breakout entry was last Monday. It's currently Thursday, so basically a week and a half, no entries for almost 2 weeks, no entries for the breakout on my personal account and on the hedge accounts. All right, so this goes to the news channel right here. Let's check the news channel real quick. News was positive, so it was actually way positive. So existing home sales was 3.4% last month. It was forecasted to be 1%. It was actually 4.8. So it was way better than last month. And then the existing home sales for November, it was forecasted to be 4.07 million. It was 4.15 million. So everything was pretty much good here. The market here isn't really reacting to it. I don't think people really care too much about it as much. So there's not really much reaction to the news. I mean, it might be a later reaction, a correction to the upside, but right now you can see there's not really much going on. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. Otherwise, we'll keep looking for entries here. I'm not really looking to take anything myself because my edge is between this time right here, between 6:40 and 7. Unfortunately, I took a trade right here. I took it at the wrong time because it was right at the opening price, unfortunately. So I got caught right there. The market flow V2 did fill right here. So if you guys remember, I said the market flow V2 is going to fill right here at the 60 mark. It's currently running in profit, it looks like. Or actually already hit TP. I personally wouldn't have taken it because there was news here at 7 o'clock. So obviously I wouldn't want to have taken that trade. But you can see over here that it did hit full TP. So there's basically two entries that came up right here during the my window of trading, 6:40 and 7. There was a breakout V3 continuation, which should have been skipped because it was at opening price. And then there was a market flow V2 that happened right here, but obviously I would have skipped this one too because there was news at 7 o'clock. So price came down, came up, and then it came right back down right here. There's another breakout V3 continuation that's setting up right here as well, if anybody's looking to take it. This is outside my trading window, so I'm not going to take it. There's also a sessions down below right here, which is this purple line. So there's a red flag down below right here. If you guys want to take it, though, it's up to you. If the candle doesn't close red, there's no entry there. But if the candle does close red, that's a breakout V3 continuation. Be a tricky close. So it looks like it's probably not. No, actually, I take that back. So there's no close there. Candle did not close red. There's no breakout V3 continuation there. It's a tricky market today. We've been having a lot of these like where they end up spiking at the last second or they end up closing at the last second. Like, for example, the entry over here, there was a buy that was setting up, and this candle was green for a while and it came right back down at the last second, red, turned into a V1 variation. This is why a lot of times it's important to look at the candle to see how it closes because it's going to signify usually what's going to happen next for the most part. Hmm. One thing that I've noticed too, and this goes hand in hand with the breakout V2 is the so whenever you have a sell signal, so for example, see how we had a sell signal right here? Basically, if you look, it's basically a breakout V2 continuation. So we have a breakout V3 continuation, it's a breakout V2 continuation. There's a sell signal right here, and you see how there's two red candles? Typically, when you see something like that, it pushes down further. So again, right here, we have a red sell signal. If these two candles close red, there's a possibility that this is going to push down further. But I would use this in confluence with liquidity. So I mean, obviously there's no liquidity right here. There's a red flag down below, so I wouldn't really take that. But if there was no red flag right here, if there was no purple line, which is the Asia high, then I would expect this to push down lower because we have a red sell signal and two red candles. It's just a continuation of the same pattern that we look at for the breakout V2. So breakout V2 continuation. But again, because we're right here at the bottom and there's the sessions right there, I obviously wouldn't, it'd be considered a red flag. So this is an area of manipulation. What might happen here is price can easily break through or price can come down and just fake out around this area, right? Because that's typically what happens a lot of times when price gets near the sessions. It'll just fake out. Talanji said pending sell momentum on the 10-minute also. Nice. So let's see what we got there. Yeah, pending momentum right there. It's trying to close and drop lower. So look at where price look where it bounced off of. Let me turn off liquidity real quick. It bounced directly off the sessions right there, right? This is why I avoid trades at this place. I made the dumb mistake of trading right here at this line, which should have been avoided. But you can see whenever price gets to these points, it gets manipulated. This is why I created this indicator to prevent from getting caught in these trades. So yeah, even though we do see the pattern there, like I said, because we have the sessions here, I probably wouldn't want to take anything. I would look for it to come up again later though. So say, for example, price does break below it. And then say, for example, we get another two red candles down here. Then all right, in a situation like that, I would maybe take it because there's all this liquidity sitting right here, right? We got liquidity hanging out down here. We got a lot of liquidity actually. There's a ton of liquidity right here. It's like from yesterday, but it's just been sitting down here. So we have more liquidity sitting down below. Price can easily come down further. So here he goes, price pushes down. See that pattern I showed you guys? Sell signal, two red candles. It's basic price action. So like basically what I'm doing is I'm using my tools here to identify a confluence with price action. That's basically what I'm doing. So again, right here, if this candle closes red, this is probably going to drop down a little further. But I wouldn't touch it now because now it's touching the sessions. I wouldn't mess with it. Like I said, whenever price touches this line right here, this purple line, doesn't matter which line, it could be the purple line, the green line, the red line, the blue line. If it touches that line there, your trade is the odds of it being manipulated are very high. So I would just sit out of this right here. I mean, it would have been nice if it didn't touch it. Like if it just kept coming down lower and didn't touch the purple line, it would have been great because we got all this liquidity sitting right here. So price could come down. There's all these targets down here, right? It's all good though. See what happens at this point. Price touched the purple line. Now it's pushing back up. So I like this market to an extent. I also don't like it to an extent. Um, I'll leave the line right here at the 7 o'clock. I like the market because it's volatile and it's moving. I don't like it because there's like it gets caught in these red flags over here. Given that there's not very many red flags today, as much as usual, um, I mean they're still there. So if you guys want to take some trades, I would just wait for price to push away from this purple line. So look for it to push up if you want to look for some buys, look for it to push down if you want to look for some sells. Um, but yeah, just wait for price to get away from this area. It's basically push below, stay down here, push above, stay up here. Sam said, yeah, did not see the sessions and lost 20 pips. Yeah, it happens, bro. It happens. The sessions are key. They're key to avoiding bad trades or to avoid manipulation, really. The thing is, if your TP stop loss, like if your stop loss is really tight, then it's going to be tricky to trade around these areas. If you have a really big stop loss, then you can probably weather the storm. Like price might come down a little bit, but if you have a really big stop loss, you can probably weather the storm. This price will probably bounce around a little bit and then come back down further. Ideally, the drop here still hasn't finished yet, right? Like, I mean, technically, this trade is already done, I think. Yeah. So this trade earlier that I told you about, sell signal, two red candles, it already hit TP for 30 points if you're going for 30 points over here. But again, you can see how price here, every time it touches the purple line, look how it just like freaks out where price goes both directions, right? It comes down a little bit, comes up, retraces back down, comes back up, retraces back down, etc. It's just not a good area to be trading in right now because of this purple line. So I'll try to warn you guys, about these lines when I see them. Obviously, they're not as easy to follow, but I mean they're not that bad. I wish there was a way to make it. I mean, there probably is a way I can do it. So just make it more visible. I think I just need to change the color of these. Let me see if I can change this a little bit. I guess that helps a little bit. Yeah, I guess this helps a little bit, so it's not like super in the way. I like the lighter colors anyways. So yeah, I just lowered the color or the brightness of the liquidity levels. So you can kind of see things a little, so things don't get in the way. If you guys like them darker, just let me know. It doesn't really make a big difference to me. I think I just got to pay attention more. This trade over here, I should have noticed this. Like, there's obviously a line cutting through. But yeah, if you guys have any input on the liquidity levels, if you want them to go back to the darker colors, let me know. If you want them to stay light like this, let me know. 'Cause I'm still working on this indicator. I'm trying to figure out like the sweet spots of like where I'm trying to put things. Um, with color, with size, with direction, all that stuff. So yeah, if you guys could let me know, feel free. Hopefully I get this indicator out to you guys by the end of maybe by this weekend, if not by this weekend, for sure by next week. Because I'll have a lot of free time during the holidays. So just want to finish up what kind of settings I want for this indicator, and then I'll release it to you guys who have access to the indicators. Again, right here, you can see price is still at the sessions. So like I said, this is a clear example of why you don't trade at the sessions. As you can see, price pushes down, pushes up, pushes down, and gets pulled right back to the sessions. The sessions act as like a magnet. So it's a magnet pulling price to it. Eventually, price is going to push away from it. That's why I say wait for price to push away from it, because if you don't, then you're probably going to get faked out. Price might push away a little bit and then pull back to it. Or the other direction, price pushes down, pulls right back to it, right? So obviously, just something to keep in mind there. All right, here we go. As price pushes away, we'll see if it pulls right back to the sessions, or if it actually pushes through. If it pushes through, let's see, the next target's like way up here for the higher high. We have a lower target right here for the lower low. So if price pushes up, one thing to maybe look out for or be careful for is going to be the opening price right here. Basically, all of these horizontal lines that go from left to right, they act as magnets. So see how price drops from the opening price here? If it bounces off the sessions, it's probably going to push back up to the opening price. So there's two places for price to reach right now. It's either opening price up here or a pullback to the sessions right there. What I would look for is possibly two green candles. You have a buy signal right here. So like two green candles possibly push right back up. You can see there's nothing going on here. So this is why I cut off my trading at 7 o'clock. You guys see how price is going sideways here? This is why I stopped trading at 7. My cutoff at 7 o'clock, I trade between 6:40 and 7 for my scalps, because you can see right here between that period, price was moving directional. And now that 7 o'clock is hit, price is going sideways. That's why I usually don't like trading after 7. And again, we're back here at the sessions below. Got a pending sell signal here. Just take liquidity off for a little bit. All right, so you guys can see right there, like pretty much nothing going on. It's just sitting there. Nothing going on, guys. All right. So again, I'm still waiting for price to push away from this area. From these sessions right here, this is actually really unusual. There's so many buy and sell signals here. So you can see price is trying to get away from here. It pushes up, and then it pulls back down. It pushes down, now it pushes back up. Typically, I would just see price go sideways right here, but you can see that there's a lot of momentum signals that are coming up because price is trying to push through. Let's see. Sam's question is, Sean, how do you see GDP affecting YM. So I don't see it affecting the YM that much. Not really. Like I feel like it would affect, obviously the currency market a lot more because it's going to be weighed against like other currencies. I mean, obviously the YM is weighed against the DXY, which is a dollar currency, but it's not very heavily weighted because um, with other countries' currencies, like I would say YM is heavily weighted against like the dollar currency because depending on like how cheap the dollar is, if money becomes cheaper for the dollar, then people put money into investments or assets like stocks, right? YM has the top 30 stocks in the US. So like basically if the dollar is weak, people put money um into the market. Vice versa, if the dollar is strong, then people take money out and then they put in other investments. So I don't think the GDP really affects it that much. If you're looking for a comparison, it would be the what's it called? The German index, which I forgot what it's called. I think it's like DE. I forget what the index is for. It used to for US, there was like US30, and then there was DE. There's one for the DAX, that's what it is, the DAX. So the DAX would be affected by would be by GDP because that's their dollar, of course. So the DAX would be affected by the British pound. I don't think it's going to be too correlated with YM. I mean, obviously there's gonna be fluctuations because everything is kind of tied into each other. Like, obviously if that's the case, people will probably put their money into other assets like YM, like you said. But it's not going to make a huge dent in one because the thing is YM is down too. The thing with the GDP is that the dollar is also weak. So the dollar is getting weak and GDP is getting weak. So I think they're going to be affected in their own specific ways. When Trump gets into House, the dollar is going to get weaker. So a lot of people don't realize that, but that's going to happen because dollar is going to get weaker and inflation is going to go up. So I mean that's what's forecasted. I don't know what's exactly going to happen, but for the most part, I mean, I'm not even familiar. Is the GDP, is it down right now? So let's see. Let's pull up let me go to this clean chart and let me check the DAX. So the DAX looks like it's up right now. Or no, sorry, not the DAX. We're looking at the future. So looks like the pound is actually bullish right now, no? For the most part, it looks pretty steady and looks clean. So the pound looks pretty strong right now. In comparison to the DXY, the dollar is kind of like in limbo. You can see the dollar is kind of weak. I mean, it came down, came up, came down. It's like in limbo. It's like right down the middle. So right now for the dollar, the market, the dollar is kind of flat. And then when Trump comes into the house, I think it's going to come down a little bit. I don't know if it's going to come, it's not going to come crashing down, but it's going to come down because inflation is going to go up. And that's just looking at things from a fundamental aspect, right? Um, so yeah, with the dollar index, I think if this goes down, then YM's going to go up. And if this goes up, then YM's going to go down. Because it's just a transfer of wealth, right? People put their money in different places. But yeah, so since the pound is since the pound is or actually it's not up, it's down. My bad. I was looking at a different chart, so it actually looks like it's down right now. So if this is down, I think the DAX is going to go up. And the DAX is going up, it looks like. Yeah, it's super bullish right now. So you guys see the resemblance here? This is how the fundamentals work. If you guys can understand how to read the fundamentals, like the DAX is up and then the pound is down. What? It looks different for some reason. Oh, because my data is I don't have the actual data for you guys, so I can't really show you guys exactly. My data is delayed. But yeah, the pound is up. And that's typically how it works. Like, I mean, it doesn't always work that way, but for the most part, that's usually what that's how the fundamentals work. But the fundamentals aren't always going to be 100%. So you gotta have some sort of other analysis behind it. So guys, looking at this over here, the same setup that I talked about for the breakout V2 continuation, there was a red candle here, another red candle, and then it spiked down super hard. I mean, obviously I wouldn't take it because it's right at the sessions, but I just want to show you guys that pattern again. Sell signal. This is the catalyst. The confluence here is two red candles, and then price shot right through. Yes, Samson, thanks for the analysis. You have Euro USD fell, gold fell due to GDP. Yeah, so like I said earlier, Sam, like those are they're weighted. So like if you're trading currencies, you could weigh a currency with gold. They balance out. Like if the dollar goes down, gold goes up. Gold goes down, dollar goes up. Um, it's the same with like the assets, like with these assets that we're talking about here with YM. It's like the same situation. If the dollar is weak, you want to put your money somewhere else so it retains value, or if it continues to grow. And then vice versa, if the dollar is strong, then you take it out and you put it in something else. All right, so looking at current price, we're finally away from the sessions right here. Price came down and hit this lower, so it pretty much knocked out liquidity right here. I'm gonna put the colors back to normal because I can't really see them anymore. Come back to 30. I mean, they're okay, like light, but I actually do like them darker. Okay, now you can see it better. So we had price push below here. It pretty much knocked out all this lower level of liquidity. So we had this level of liquidity knocked out, this one as well, and this one as well. The next target's going to be a little lower down here. So what you could look for here is, again, the same pattern, right? Look for another two red candles. I would probably only do one per momentum. I think that's probably the best way to do it. But I mean, in some instances, like for example, here, we had a buy signal, two green candles. I mean, it would have taken a while to hit, but still would have hit right there. So obviously that would have played through. And then again, right here. Oh, this was one from earlier this morning. But yeah, I'd probably stick to like one per momentum. So again, right here, buy signal, two green candles. Full TP right there. And I would try to go in the direction of the trend. So I wouldn't really go against the trend. Again, buy signal, two green candles. Buy signal, two green candles, etc. Red signal, two red candles. This was like London session though, so you obviously go for a smaller TP stop loss. Volatility is a lot lower. Maybe go half 15 instead of 30. But yeah, that's kind of like, I just wanted to show you guys. So right now, this has already been used. This red sell signal has been used already, and here we go. As price pulls back to the sessions. So we are back at the sessions again. I mean, there's not really much here to work with. So let's go back over here real quick. Let's see where price is currently sitting right now. So rejected off that whole number below, which is the 42,900. So it looks like this is the new range. It's between the 43,000 and the 42,900 mark. So it's a 100-point range right now down the middle right here. Also the sessions, which is right above it. So what I would look for here is a possible sell signal. You can see the pending sell signal right here. If that sell signal closes, you can look for again for two possible red candles, and then possible continuation to the downside. Like I said earlier, there's a lot of liquidity sitting right here. So you guys see all the liquidity from this end. This is from yesterday and from London session. So Asia session right here, basically 10 p.m. last night. There's a lot of liquidity just hanging out. There's more liquidity right here. This is from market open yesterday. So this is Asia session about like 3 p.m. Pacific time. All this liquidity got established. So it pretty much extends out to like this lower target right here. You got this liquidity hanging out right here, and you have a bunch of targets just right there. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing continues to drop down even lower. What I would look for is I'd look for that sell signal to close. Once the sell signal closes, look for those two red candles and possibly a continuation down lower. There's a low impact news event right here at 7:30. I believe it's gas stock change. Yeah. We have EIA natural gas stock change here at 7:30. So there's not really too much. I don't think it's going to move price at all. It's a news event. Yeah. It was pending sell signal. Yep. Looks like the volatility's kind of died down now. It's just ranging between this middle area now. So like looking at this here, guys, you guys can see where the range is currently at. Just gonna hang out down here probably until like 8 o'clock. So again, this is another reminder of like why I don't trade after 7 o'clock. Between 7 and 8, market kind of just flattens out. Right now, it's not super flat, but it is pretty much flattened out. It's just going sideways. So if I mark it up right here, here's a clean chart. So between 7 and 8, see price is still sort of moving, but not as much. My window for entry when I'm trading is between 640 and 7. So the reason why I have it 640 and 7 is because 630 and 640 is like the breakout time. So this is time for breakout. This is where the directional push happens. And this is where market goes sideways. That's why my edge is right here down the middle. Your edge might be different from mine, but from my experience, this is usually where I start to make mistakes. That's why I don't try to trade after 7 o'clock. There are entries that come up. That's why I'm still on here and I'm still kind of giving my analysis. But for the most part, I usually try to avoid anything after this. So the news happened right there at 7:30. It was positive. So the crazy thing here is that we have a lot of positive news that came out from 7 o'clock up until 8 o'clock. So there may be some sort of correction. The only thing is that there's a lot of pressure down here from the sell side. So, we might not even ever get that correction. There goes your news right there. News candle right there for a buy. Nothing going on, guys. If you guys have any questions, if you want me to analyze anything else, let me know. But right now for YM, there's just nothing going on. Let's take a look at other assets right now. Let's just see what everything else is doing. I mean, price here is obviously going sideways. Let's take a look at NQ. I know a lot of you guys like to trade NQ. I don't really see too much here. The volatility here is a little crazy for NQ, which is understandable. Yeah, so the thing with the breakout V2 continuation that I was talking about earlier, guys, is I would probably like stay away from like the really big candles. So like for example, right here, these candles are super big, so I probably would have skipped them. I mean, this is if you can measure them, this is like 300-point move. So I probably would have skipped that one. This one over here actually would have been okay. So this one was kind of big, but the next candle was decent. Yeah, and you can see the volatility here got a little normal. There was a sessions right there though, so I wouldn't mess with it. Um, this is against the trend, wouldn't mess with that. This right here, I would skip this one because this candle is too big. So there's a sell signal here, two red candles. But again, this candle is huge. It's a 200-point candle. This could have been doable, possibly. There's two red candles right there. Otherwise, if you would have skipped that, would have went for this one right here. With the Nasdaq, though, the volatility is so high, I'd probably use a bigger TP stop loss, of course. So NQ is moving. There's a bit more direction over here for NQ. Let's go to ES. ES too. Surprisingly, ES and NQ are actually moving a lot smoother compared to YM today. Let's go back to YM. I mean, YM is moving directional too, but it's more so flat. So it's kind of flat right here. Flat, push, flat. If you go to ES, it's more of a smoother push. So price comes down a little bit, retraces, comes back down. It's more of a smoother push, it looks like. Right there. It's just like two legs versus, let me see how big these candles were. Now, see, I don't really like ES because the volatility is just a little too slow for me. Like if YM is slow, ES would be a lot more slower. But if you're looking to catch like tops and bottoms on ES, it's actually easier to catch. Like for example, if your price came up, double body rejection right there, a V1 variation. It's not a V1, it's a V1 pattern, but it came back down from there. All right, back to YM. Let's see. Sam said 20 points more down. I may look for a V1. Price needs to go up after eating liquidity, or am I getting FOMO? I think you're getting FOMO, Sam. I mean, I could tell because well, I would feel FOMO right now too. If I didn't have my window right here, like if this isn't my window to trade, then I would get FOMO here because I would see price dropping and I'm like, oh man, I want to get into one of these trades, but I mean, realistically, there's nothing there. If you're asking me, if you're asking me, I don't really see much here. You're basically looking for price to come down and you're looking for it to retrace up after eating liquidity. The thing is, there's a lot of liquidity down here, so there's a lot of room for it to come down. But for me, like you said, I would need price to retrace back up, right? I wouldn't chase this down here because it's too far down at this point. Um, Otherwise, if I was to take something, I would just wait for the V2 confirmation, right? So I look for the sell signals right here, look for two red candles that aren't like super huge. But I would think this is overextended to the downside. So what I would look for is look for price to push up, maybe a V1 variation right here, and then come back down. Because the last thing I want to do is get caught in the whipsaw back up, right? The whipsaw retracement like this right here. Imagine you try to chase a sell right here, and now you're getting screwed tenfold because this candle is huge. Yeah, it's like a 60 point candle. So what I would look for here personally is I would look for the V1 variation at some upper end here. The only problem is that we're back at the sessions. Yeah, exactly. Sam said you're right. It's 1 hour already. The move already happened, Sam. And you know what I'm talking about. You're the one that calls it every day. You're like once we get to this point, you're like, well, I'm probably done because the move has already happened. And you're right, because the move did already happen. It was right here. We had the push up right here, manipulation back down, and then the consolidation. So now if you guys like to trade AMD, like accumulation, manipulation, I don't know what the other one, direction or whatever the last one is. So it already restarted. I mean, it's back to AMD here. So this is accumulation again right here. This is where the accumulation is happening. Then you look for the manipulation, and then you look for the direction. The same thing with like what happened here earlier. Yeah, so this is exactly what happened here. So if you guys look here, this is where the accumulation happened, right? Price went sideways. And then for our breakout this morning, that's where the manipulation happened. Price came down, manipulated up, and then the direction happened, right? Now it starts over. So the whole thought process of that price action pattern is starting over. We're back in accumulation here again. Accumulation, look for the manipulation and then the direction. It's basically a head and shoulders. If you guys think about it, it's really like a head and shoulders. Like people call it different names. I mean, accumulation, distribution, manipulation. Wait, yeah, that's what it is. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. It's basically a head and shoulders pattern if you really think about it. So like if you think about a head and shoulders pattern, it's like sideways, at the head, and then it was directional, right? It's basically head and shoulders if you guys really think about it. Like there's a lot of different names for these strategies, but they're all kind of like tied into the same thing. Like if you guys look at any strategies that you guys have looked at in the past, like if people are looking for a M pattern, right? M pattern is very similar to a head and shoulders. Head and shoulders ties to a lot of things, and it does the same thing with AMD. Like you can get the accumulation, you get that manipulation, and then you get the direction. It's like an M pattern. You get the consolidation, the M pattern, and it comes down, or the W pattern, same thing, right? Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So, I would just say like to everybody here, like try not to overcomplicate it. If you guys see a pattern, call it whatever you want. You don't have to call it a specific name. Like that's kind of how like ICT came about, right? Like everyone wants to think that like ICT created stuff, but like all the stuff he created is just rebranded. Like all the patterns that he looks at, they're patterns that were already around. Like same with me. Like I didn't recreate trend trading, right? I trend trade momentum. Like I trend trade liquidity. It's not like I created any of this stuff. I just renamed it for stuff that I understand. Um, like sometimes I'll be looking at certain things and somebody will call it something specific and I've never heard of that before, or I just don't follow it as that, but it's the same thing. We're looking at the same thing here. Like my style of trading, I call it market flow, right? I look for price to flow, market to flow. Some people are like, oh, that's just trend trading, or that's something specific, something very similar. Um, I just call it market flow. That's what I call it. So, just keep that in mind, guys. Like there's no like call things what you want it and identify things the way that you want. Like my breakout strategies, right? If you guys look at my breakout strategies, it's really just like accumulation into manipulation. Like this is a breakout from this morning. Price accumulated down here and manipulated and it shot up. That's literally the breakout. Um, but yeah, I mean, I know I'm kind of going on a rant right now, but there's nothing going on here. So price is still at the sessions right here down the middle. It's I mean, there's nothing going on here. Like I said, it's still considered, this would be whatever you want to call it. I call it consolidation. I call it a range. Some people will call it accumulation. I mean, it doesn't matter what you call it. It's the same thing. Price is consolidating and ranging between this middle area right here. So like I said before, like I tell you guys, whenever price goes into a consolidation like this, look for the breakout, right? And what is this? What is the breakout? This is manipulation, right? Accumulation, manipulation. But for me, I just call it consolidation, then move into the breakout, or I call it range and then go into the breakout. The same thing, same concept. So, whenever someone tries to argue with you about your strategy, let them argue because they're looking at the same thing you're looking at and they just call it something different. Because I always see people argue about stuff and they're like, no, this is called supply and demand. No, this is support and resistance. No, this is a order block. No, this is that. This is the other. It's the same thing, guys. You just call it whatever you want. Whatever is easier for you to remember, whatever is easier for you to identify, call it whatever you want. So there's nothing else going on here right now. It's, everything's kind of just going sideways. Let's see. Talanji said, yeah, 40 minutes later, still no sell momentum on higher time frame. Sitting on my hands unless something pops up. Yeah, same here. Like you can see, price still hasn't broken out of this area. So like the thing with me is I like to keep things super logical and super simple. I don't like using big words with trading. That's why if you look at my strategies, they're like super basic. Like I call them momentum breakout. I try to, because the thing is like when I take the breakout, I base it off the momentum signal, right? We had a buy signal here, or yeah, I'll just show you over here. So we had a buy signal here. That's why I call it the momentum breakout at open, because market opened at 6:30. I keep it as literal as possible when I call things stuff. So like it makes sense to you guys. So like, yeah. Momentum breakout. This is the breakout we took this morning, guys. It finally hit. So if you guys didn't sit in on the breakout this morning, it was a pretty smooth breakout. We've been waiting for this for like some time now. We had a buy signal here. 6:30 was market open. We took the buy. Price pushed up. And it went straight to TP. Little to no drawdown. So now that we've had the breakout this morning, I'm going to be looking to take the breakout tomorrow. Because we do have that. We have that ready now. But yeah, guys, there's nothing going on here. Price again is just sitting at the sessions. As you can see, the purple line is still there, hasn't moved, and price hasn't moved either. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. 7:45 right now. It's about 15 minutes till 8. Not really expecting much to happen here. Again, if you guys want to look for an entry, look for price to break out of this area, or look for price to manipulate, whatever you want to call it. Look for price to push to the upside right here, or look for price to push to the downside right here. And then once you have that breakout right there, what happens after the breakout is typically a directional push. So you might see price push up and then come back down. That's one thing, right? It's like part of the head and shoulders right here. There's a head, basically head and shoulders. And then the vice versa, you might see the other direction. So price might break up and then continue climbing up higher. But as of now, I would just say to sit out of the market, guys. There's no reason to force any trades here. I don't want you guys to lose any trades for no reason. Of course, tomorrow's Friday. This is the last trading week of the year, basically. The last full trading week of the year. Because next week is Christmas. The week after is Christmas, is New Year's Day. So it's going to be a half. Yeah, it's going to be half basically next week and the following week. So yeah, I would just sit out, guys. Come back tomorrow fresh, and we'll just run this back. Hopefully tomorrow the breakout plays how it's supposed to, and then we'll close out this week strong. But all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. There's nothing going on here, so if you guys want to sit out, feel free to sit out. Come back tomorrow fresh with the market back in order. The good thing is that we have some volatility based off the news that happened yesterday. I don't think there's any more news for today. The news is done for today. And then tomorrow we have some high impact news. We have core PCE price index, inflation news, index month over month, PCE price index, personal spending, et cetera. Just a bunch of inflation news, Michigan consumer sentiment, just to see where everybody's kind of sitting. So tomorrow we do have a lot of high impact news. We have high impact news pre-market at 5:30, and we have one high impact news event at 7, Michigan consumer sentiment. So I'll look to take the breakout tomorrow, and I'll look to squeeze in like maybe 1 or 2 scalps between 6:40 and 7. But other than that, I'm gonna sit tight and just let the market need to do what it needs to do for today. So, all right, guys, I'll see you guys here tomorrow. If you guys have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, you guys can message me on Discord or chime in on there. So, all right, guys.